Here's more wrestling news for May 1st, 2023, and we're starting off with Roman Reigns, who for close to 3 years has dominated as WWE's Universal Champion, but he isn't the only superstar with an impressive title run. Today marks day 395 for Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair and day 325 of Gunther's tenure as Intercontinental Champion, and there's a reason why so many champions are so dominant right now. When the Wrestling Observer's Jim Valley tweeted that he suspects the new World Heavyweight Championship is a sign that Reigns will be champion for a very long time, Andrew Zarian responded that WWE is wanting to update its history books and have new record-breaking title reigns. For Belair, she'll need to make it to the end of next week to become the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion, while Gunther will need to reach September 8th to surpass the Honky Tonk Man's 454 days. It's worth stating that WWE has already begun lodging new records in its history books, as Demolition's record-long run as Tag Team Champions was conquered by The New Day in 2015, and their reign was eclipsed by the Usos last year. One of the biggest complaints fans have is that title changes are so frequent they lose all meaning. But with WWE looking to set new records, expect more longer reigns both now and in the future. When Gable Steveson signed with WWE, expectations were high for the Olympian, but a battle with Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome and not showing enough progress in training has stalled his career. Earlier this month, Steveson announced his intention to compete in the US Open and possibly next year's Summer Olympics, and now the Raw superstar has made quite the step towards Paris. Competing at the US Open last weekend, Steveson didn't just win his matches, but absolutely dominated his opponents, including one of the Open favorites, Mason Parris, outscoring him 12-1. Now Steveson will advance to the US Open Final X in Newark, New Jersey in May, and a dominant performance there will all but guarantee him a spot in next year's Olympic wrestling team. While this win is good news for Gable Steveson, it's bad news for WWE, as his professional wrestling career will be on the back burner for as long as he's focusing on the Olympics. WWE was able to fend off competition from AEW, UFC, and the NFL to sign Steveson in 2021, but his career has hardly gone according to plan, and judging by his performance at the US Open, it may be a long time yet before he's in the ring. Now, since arriving on the main roster, OMOS has been one of WWE's biggest stars, both literally and when it comes to booking. OMOS won the Raw Tag Team Championships with AJ Styles in his first main roster match, has had WrestleMania feuds with Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar, and will be taking on Seth Rollins this weekend. Many fans have bashed his upcoming match with Rollins as out of nowhere and unnecessary, but when speaking to Shaq Wrestling, OMOS responded to this criticism and said it's nothing new. "I just gotta perform for me. As long as the crowd enjoys it, I see everything about me online. But at the end of the day, all you gotta do is go out, perform, and make them shut up." OMOS went on to say that he remembers everyone doubting him ahead of his Crown Jewel 2022 match with Braun Strowman, and said how many were later impressed with the quality of the match. Omos's size means there are things in the ring that smaller wrestlers can do that he can't, but being a giant does make the Nigerian superstar a spectacle. And has your opinion on Omos changed since we first saw him debut on the main roster? Omos was certainly ready to defend his performances in the ring, but as you may have suspected, his comments have led to more backlash from the fans. On Twitter, fans mocked Omos, saying he is only defending his performances because he knows he's bad, and one said that the Nigerian Giant is wasting MVP's time, and that the manager would be better reuniting with Bobby Lashley. Omos is focused on proving the doubters wrong this weekend at Backlash, and it'll be difficult for him to have a bad match against Seth Rollins, but some fans aren't so willing to be convinced by the former Raw Tag Team Champion. We've got some news from Alex Tischer, who fans may know better as Alexander Wolf in WWE, as the former superstar is set to undergo surgery. In a tweet translated from German, the WXW promotion announced that Tischer is out with a broken collarbone and is set to miss some upcoming events due to the upcoming surgery. Tischer suffered the injury at last weekend's Progress Chapter 152 event, and while we can't say for certain when he'll be back in the ring, we're wishing him a very speedy recovery. Now, it was in 2008 that Alicia Fox debuted on WWE's roster as the wedding planner for Edge and Vicky Guerrero, but would later become a full-time wrestler for the company. In 2019, it was believed that Fox had left WWE, but that turned out not to be the case. But now, the former Divas champion has confirmed her departure. On Instagram, Fox changed her name from Alicia Fox to her real name, Victoria Crawford, and in her bio said that she was under a WWE contract from 2006 to 2023. We don't know when exactly this year that the former superstar parted ways with WWE, but the fact that she only changed her profile recently implies that it wasn't too long ago. Fox leaves WWE a one-time Divas champion and one-time 24/7 champion, and has been sober for over 3 years after struggling with alcohol, and after saying on the Bella's podcast in July 2020 that she's continued her education. We wish her the best in whatever comes next. Over to AEW, and it was only recently that Adam Cole returned to action after missing close to a year due to concussion issues, and for a while, it looked like his career in the ring was over. Thankfully, that isn't the case, and now not only is Cole back, but he's ready to step through the forbidden door and compete outside of AEW. Speaking at the For the Love of Wrestling convention in Manchester, England, Cole expressed his desire to compete for the Progress World Championship, and said that the current champion, Mike Trevette, won't be holding the gold for much longer. That comment resulted in Trevette confronting Cole, and this was hardly the only tease of a crossover between AEW and Progress. In a separate confrontation, AEW World Tag Team Champions FTR teased a confrontation with Progress Tag Team Champions Sunshine Machine, and Cash Wheeler said that he and Dax Harwood plan to become very familiar with the other champions. AEW has always been open to working with other promotions, and we'll see that this June with AEW X and JPW Forbidden Door 2, but don't be surprised if the Stars of Progress make an impact on All Elite TV soon enough. One name who is here to stay is AJ Styles, who returned on this week's SmackDown after spending months out with an ankle injury. During his return, Styles hit a phenomenal forearm, but was otherwise absent from the OC brawl with the Viking Raiders, leading some to speculate on his condition. When Ringside News asked their sources, it was confirmed that contrary to what some have said, Styles is 100% medically cleared and good to go, so expect to see the phenomenal one back in action soon enough. And we're ending today with Rhea Ripley, as the Eradicator of the Judgment Day has never shied away from facing off with her male counterparts. Even recently, Ripley teased going toe-to-toe with the Bloodline Solo Sikoa, but now she has her eye on some other men. When JD Mcdonagh tweeted his reaction to him being drafted to Raw, Ricochet said that he's going to beat the Irish Ace up on the Red brand, and Ripley responded by saying she'll beat them both up. While there's no confirmation that WWE plans on Ripley doing what she's threatened to do, it wouldn't be the first time that she'll have quite literally manhandled an opponent, with Akira Tozawa and Luke Gallows being on the receiving end of her attacks. What we do know is that Ripley will be defending her SmackDown Women's title against Zelina Vega, but would you like to see the Australian face off against Mcdonagh, Ricochet, or another male star on Raw? Sound off in the comments.